Hey YouTube, what's going on? Torsar the Barbarian here with another sports talk video. Um, Now I was thinking about saving this one till tomorrow, but there's going to be way too much to talk about. It was a busy day in football. Some stuff happened in the NBA. So I want to get this one out of the way now if it doesn't do well because I dropped it late at night and it's kind of a serious subject. It is what it is. But I wanted to talk about Antonio Brown losing his goddamn mind today. Now, I'm not going to sit there and make jokes. I don't know what went on. At first, they were reporting that he threw a crap fit because he got benched. And then it appears that it actually wasn't because he got benched. It was because Bruce Arians wanted, or one of the coaches wanted him to go back into the game. And for whatever reason, he refused. And we all saw what happened. If you didn't see what happened, go look it up. It's all over the place. It would be very hard to be into sports and be on the internet and not know what happened. Um, Now, the reason why I want to talk about it, we're going to find out more about what happened. All the talking heads will be talking about it. But something that I keep hearing when it comes to Antonio Brown, and at first, I didn't know how much credence to give this, but people keep swearing the guy has never been the same since that hit years ago when he was with the Steelers, and Vontez Burfict just absolutely laid him out. Now, I don't think that any one hit can cause you to get CTE. I think it's probably more of an accumulation of hits throughout the years, but who really knows? I mean, obviously I'm not a doctor and I don't even think probably the biggest experts on the subject in the world really can definitively tell you this is what causes it, this is what can't. Um, and it just reminds me of other cases. I think back to I was concerned this last off season when I heard about this incident that Richard Sherman got into because it was so out of character. I've never really liked Richard Sherman as a player or like his post game interviews. I think he gets too much credit for his intelligence. He's one of those guys that just tries to be smarter than he actually is. I mean, the guy went to Stanford, not MIT or Harvard. He's an intelligent guy, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say he's not a smart guy. I just think people make too big of his intelligence. But one thing that I want to stress is I do not hate him as a person. I think he's a good person. He's never got in trouble and off the field before this incident. And when people do stuff like that, well, I should correct that. When football players or other sports stars like soccer players, hockey players, when they do stuff that's out of character, that's the first thing people think of. And surprisingly, when this happened and people were talking about it, I don't know why, but I didn't hear a single soul talk about, oh, I hope this isn't something like CTE. Now, let me go and show you the incident that I'm talking about. So, arrested on domestic violence. It was over the summer. So, NFL cornerback Richard Sherman was arrested Wednesday in Washington State and faces a charge of burglary, domestic violence, after a entry to gain attempt in his parents' home. Darrell Lowe news conference. Occupant called 911 early Wednesday morning that Sherman was attempting to get inside. When police first confronted Sherman, the interaction was calm and he even joked with officers. But then officers said he would be placed under arrest. Sherman began walking away and accelerated his pace. Now, is that something an intelligent person does? At that point in time that the officers made, now maybe it is something an intelligent person does and they're just under the influence. And I hope it's a really bad situation when you're hoping he was just messed up on pills or drunk or something instead of what comes to mind when I hear about stuff like this. So Lowe said Sherman smelled of intoxicant emanating from his mouth and person. So there you go. Maybe he was just drunk. Why the guy was getting drunk to begin with, I don't know. I've never really heard of anything about this coming from him. That's why it seems so out of character. Oh, and look, the AB thing is right in here too. Troopers with the Washington State Patrol responded because he was suspected of crashing his vehicle into a highway cement barrier and fleeing the scene before arriving at the residence. Sherman allegedly drove away with pop tires before abandoning the vehicle in a nearby parking lot. So this was just something, I mean, the guy has never been in any sort of trouble off the field before this. It just seems so out of character. And anytime I hear stuff like this from players, that's the first thing I think of. Like I said, Antonio Brown. People swear he hasn't been the same since that Vontez Burfict hit. I don't know. Would he have still gone off on these tangents with not paying people money and getting into all these altercations? Because that's the thing, it's a lot of off the field stuff. The thing that happened with the Raiders, that was one thing. All these incidents, or most of them are, from this latest one with the cook who he didn't want to pay, to what did he have, like an altercation with some movers or something? The guy just seems like he's just like a loose cannon. And I just really hope that one day, hopefully one day soon, someone comes up with a way to test for CTE without the person having to lose their life first. If anyone's watching and you're going to medical school or you're thinking about becoming a doctor and you love sports, hey, maybe that's a direction you could take. We need, I don't know how much studies are being done on it now. I don't know the science behind it, but like I said, that's something we need. As much as we can improve the technology on these helmets, there's some things that you just can't do. I mean, what are you going to do for a soccer player? These guys bang their heads all the time. They can't wear helmets while they're playing soccer. I mean, I guess they could, but that's not about to happen. And it's some of them, it's not, I don't think the just one major blow, like they say how boxing is much more dangerous than MMA, because the MMA fights, the guy starts taking punishment, he gets hit with a flush punch, almost bare knuckle right in the face, gets knocked out or dropped, guy starts hitting him on the ground, the referee jumps in and just calls it. Whereas boxing, man, these guys are just like, sometimes for 12 rounds, just maybe they're not getting hit as hard as that one shot in MMA, but they're just taking punishment after punishment. And that's why you see, there's been all sorts of death, even if you take from when MMA first started becoming a thing, because obviously you can't take the whole history of boxing and count all those deaths and take the whole history of MMA. That's unfair. But even if you start from when MMA started, okay, and say from then until now, that boxing has had a bunch of deaths, and I've heard stuff that like no one's like ever died from MMA. So it's these repeated hits, especially these guys are taking these hits from in high school. A lot of people swear that Aaron Hernandez had this problem before he even reached the NFL, which is scary to think of, that there could be people that were playing, high school ball, college ball, and they're already having problems before they even reach the NFL. That pretty much means that you're all but doomed, man. And I hope that this is not the case. As much as AB can be, annoying, I wouldn't want to play with him. I wouldn't want him on my team. Richard Sherman, never been a fan of his, but this is all strictly entertainment football speaking. Off the field, I got no problems with either of them. I wish them well. They're good guys. You have people still speaking up for AB even now, so no one wants to see stuff like that. And I hope that that's not the case. But this just further proof that we really need to do, a lot more. We have from here down, pretty well figured out. And we need to start figuring out from here up as far as what's going on with some of this stuff. And I think that this could even, lead to everyday life, applications. If someone can find a way to scan for this stuff without having to crack someone's melon open, awesome. So like I said, any of you young kiddos in school, anyone watching this, man, that's something to shoot for. The person who can find a way to test CTE for CTE without the person having to be deceased, you're going to be a rock star in the medical and science community. Not much to say about this one. Obviously, if anyone wants to leave a comment, feel free. Be making a bunch of videos tomorrow, hopefully, about all the things that happened today. But let me know what you guys think. As usual, really appreciate any likes, dislikes, comments. Drop a sub if you want to see more content. It's all totally free. It only takes a second. It takes less time than it took Antonio Brown to strip all his clothes off and run off the field. Crazy. I've never seen anything like that before, and I don't think he's ever going to play another game in the NFL. But we shall see. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.